Right. Thanks, Petro. So, yeah, a couple of questions that have just come up that I'll answer straight away. I doubt there's going to be any form of children in the game. Children increase the age limit of game, having them in there, I think. And there's issues with people blowing up children in computer games. So a lot of games will avoid children where possible, and I believe that is what Star Citizen is doing. Robots and AI and stuff as well. So AI and robots and things like that in games like lore have always found problems. That's why we're not fighting super AI wars with perfectly accurate weapons and everything just going, well, we don't actually need to pilot that. We can just remote pilot it from the other end of space. So the idea is that everything's a lot more hands-on because of that. So you'll have limited robots. Think of if you do have any form of humanoid-ish robotics, it would just be for manufacture and construction and won't be doing any tasks other than what a mechanical arm could do or whatever, if you see what I mean. There is going to be AI in-game. I'm not talking just NPCs. I'm talking about AI modules. Thank you very much, Smallies Ayus. I don't. Good name. Thanks for the sub. So there is going to be AI modules in the game that you can plug into certain turrets and then program them with certain blades, which are basically little servers or information cards or whatever, assuming your ship has got the room for them, and then they'll be able to do basic tasks. So you could program a turret to automatically shoot at any neutral or enemy ships that pass, or you could set up a points defense system to shoot any torpedoes and missiles that are nearby. Stuff like that. So there is going to be some AI that's not NPCs, that is in lore AI, and there may be limited robotics. We might get piloted drones, for example, for the Reclaimer and stuff like that as well. But that stuff is still being 100% decided and fleshed out, and they're working on how to balance a lot of that. One of the major things that has caused delays in Squadron 42 and Star Citizen is AI subsumption in general. So although the AI for your weaponry might be a bit derpy, and rightfully so, it's like supposed to be, it's still part of the AI subsumption stuff, and AI subsumption covers so much of the game, not just the way AI reacts and everything. So you can have very clever NPCs with 24-hour schedules that will all be a bit unique, so they might have different levels of panic and better hearing. Some might work in a shop, and that sort of stuff. And some might be combat pilots, some might be security guards. So you have all these different NPCs, all these different jobs, and all that sort of jazz with AI subsumption. You've got combat NPCs, you've got pirates that spawn, you've got the ships that spawn with them, all the items that spawn with them are all part of subsumption. The economy is effectively part of subsumption. The mission system that gets generated procedurally is all part of subsumption. There's a huge amount. It's all, pretty much everything's linked in Star Citizen anyway, but yeah, you thought your question about AI and robots was going to be very small, but no. Alpha Saber, thank you very much. Aye. Thank you very much for the sub, much appreciated. Love your face. Hello, hello. I'm going to answer some questions first, because I realised that if I don't answer questions first, I go through the newsy stuff, which is, and the hot topic-y stuff, which answers a lot of the questions anyway. And I realised that people come in slowly at the start of the broadcast, and there's a lot more at the end asking the same questions again and again and again. So we'll try it this way around this time. So we'll answer questions, have a chat, and then towards the end of the podcast, or whatever the fuck this is, stream, we will go into more of the news and other stuff. No sexual robots. I doubt there's going to be any form of like strip clubs or that sort of stuff either. They will want, if possible, Star Citizen to obviously explore mature kind of like things like slavery and that sort of stuff, but they're probably not going to push it randomly like, well, let's have a red light district with boobies and stuff like that. So, hi board, what do you think about the current flyable Vandal ships like the Glaive and Scythe? How are they compared to other ships in 3.8 and the improvements or nerfs expect on those? Yes. They fly differently, all the ships fly differently, and once you have your hands in 3.0, you will have to relearn the meta, and it's a very different beast to the game now. Yeah, not much more I can say other than that, really. All the ships will have changed a reasonable amount because of Item System 2.0, because of lots of flight balance tweaks, lots of... So flight balance tweaks, I mean the flight models effectively had additions and changes. The weapons are all changed. There's you get in, you'll see what I mean. But do you think the 600i will grow? Probably not beyond what it already has. I mean, it might change in size slightly as it gets built out and fleshed out and stuff, but it won't grow to a much larger state than it already is. Isn't it 94 meters long now? It's like 2 constellations. It's pretty big. It's pretty big now, that 600i. Will there be security in 3.0 for ships to not be stolen? You can lock the external doors of your ship in 3.0. You can go to... I think that... Eventually, they want Star Citizen to not have any armistice zones. So what I mean by that is like Port Olisar at the moment, you can't fire your weapons there. What they want eventually is for NPC security, players, defense turrets, all that sort of stuff to basically cover those areas so that you can commit crimes if you want, but it's very unlikely you'll be able to finish committing your crime or survive committing it. They obviously want to balance that for griefing and stuff as well. That's all kept in mind. But they want to remove armistice zones, let players do whatever the fuck they want, and then put these in-game not restrictions, but these in-game punishments and like laws and systems in place so that players would go, oh, right, well, in Port Olisar, this is a legal zone. I'm not going to start shooting everyone in the fucking head. Oh, you're a legend, KWO311, love your fucking face. Good morning from California, glad I was up in time to catch the stream today. Thank you very much for your continued support. You're a legend amongst men. Or women, I don't know. Both, I suppose. Non-gender specific, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. KWO311 has, I think, supported every stream I've done with money. Very much appreciated. You're a legend. PTU release dates December ? So we don't have any form of hard date on PTU release for 3.0. The tests are going very well with the Evocati. You may have heard that they're getting 60 players into servers, and they're testing that quite vigorously. The performance is pretty fucking good, and they're making quite good strides with the Evocati builds. You may have heard that, and I'm not going to deny or confirm that, but I'm definitely not going to deny it. Release date wise, I'm hoping, yeah, I'm hoping for a PTU wider release before Christmas. I think that's what CIG will push for. It will be crunch time for them. They'll do overtime and stuff. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, then it will be very early 2018. It'll be disappointing to a lot of people, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm very much hoping for 3.0 PTU to most people's hands by Christmas. Will Star Citizen have specific job roles like they have in EVE Online? Sort of. So yeah, there's definitely career paths and things you can do. There's not going to be it's not going to be as hard locked as EVE Online. EVE Online, you had to learn how to do it by learning the skill over months or whatever. Now, Star Citizen will allow you to do anything the fuck you want. It is down to your own actual player skill at doing stuff, and obviously a bit down to your equipment and ships you have access to. And you won't be hard locked out of certain trees either, so that's not a good thing necessarily. So you potentially could take a transport 300 people to this planet mission, which would basically assume that you had a Genesis Starliner or whatever, but you could take that even if you had an Aurora. Now, taking something like that and not completing it in a certain time may lose you quite a significant amount of reputation with that mission provider, and in the future might lock those missions out to you, and missions might be more available to you with more reputation from things. But there's no hard locks for a lot of the stuff. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of specific roles in lots of different areas. So you're going to be able to do fuel, transportation and gathering in a Starfarer, but also respond to requests to refuel a ship that's stranded in space. That could be player or an NPC. There's someone throwing bottles around outside my house, so apologies if you can hear that on my microphone. But there's going to be science. Science is going to cover a huge range of things, including overclocking weapons and systems, and then reselling them as overclocked, tweaked weapons and systems. Research into animals, into plant life, into compounds, data crunching. So you're going to be able to take data about anomalies and other scientific research and crunch that into sellable data. There's going to be tracking down of anomalies, again, that's slightly more exploration, but it's kind of part of science. There's going to be farming. There's going to be medical profession where you can literally stabilize people, and there's going to be a mini game around treating them probably. What else have we got? We have all the industry ships, obviously, so mining, salvage, repair. There's so much. All the combat roles, and there's going to be E-War. There's going to be base building with the Pioneer. There's lots. There's lots, and I can't remember it all at the moment unless I write it the fuck down or make a video on it. Let's have a quick look, actually. What else do I enjoy? Exploration is probably another one of those huge ones as well. So exploration is going to cover not just the discovery of wormholes and mapping, and mapping of new planets and mappings of surfaces and stuff, but also surveying land and surveying areas of space for claims in the future. What materials are there for mining, that sort of stuff. So many different combat roles. There's obviously racing. We're thinking there might be some form of manufacture as well in the future, like ammo and stuff like that, but there's going to be refining of fuel and resources and materials. Stuff like the Pioneer will be able to use those materials directly. You can sell those materials. You can have ships built with them, sort of, by going to planets and completing quests and that sort of stuff. Because the God AI is going to basically deal with stock in all of the shops on particular regions. So, and those shops actually need materials to build those, or to get those from other factories to actually have those ships built. The Endeavour does so much. The Endeavour's like the premier science and light exploration. When I say light exploration, it's probably quite heavy into exploration, but it's because it's so sciencey. I'd say light. That's the kind of main ones. There's cargo hauling as well. There's luxury, which is more multi-role in my opinion, but also can also be people transport. There's data running. There's lots. There is lots. Can't remember what I was talking about now. What's your views on Loot Wars Battlefront 2? So okay. So this is going to sound a bit weird. Like, I'm all up for aesthetics. So Overwatch loot crates. Yes, they have obviously seem to have made it okay in the industry to have loot boxes and everything, which is a fucking bad thing. That's a terrible thing. And I hate gambling in games. But purely aesthetic things, purely aesthetic items, I'm actually quite okay with games monetizing themselves in that way. Yeah, if it's just for costumes and skins and stuff, fucking go nuts. Do what you own fucking want. You don't have to buy them. It doesn't affect my gameplay. I do not like vulnerable people being preyed upon. And I say vulnerable people. It's people that will pay loads and loads of money into their hobby and will gamble for that. Now, Star Citizen obviously has ships that people buy, and they pour hundreds of thousands of dollars, some people, into the game. Maybe not hundreds of thousands, but tens of thousands, some people. So it's a similar-ish thing. The thing with loot boxes is that it is more gambly. It is, you don't know what you're going to get from them. They use the same like casino-esque tricks to try and get people to buy stuff, and it's awful. That's a terrible thing. You need to be aware that is happening, and you need to be relatively strong-willed not to get pulled along with that. I mean, for example, Call of Duty World War II, it has loot boxes that jump down from the heavens in front of other people, because you're in this like social space on Normandy Beach, and fucking a crate will come down, and you'll see what the other person got in front of you, and you gain like, I think you gain some achieves by watching the crates come down as well and stuff like that. So there are lots of little tricks that they use for marketing to get players to buy these things. It's a major issue, obviously, when people are spending huge amounts of money on it, and it's an issue when it unlocks like Darth Vader for Star Wars, for Battlefront stuff, when it's like, I've spent $80 on this game, and now I have to spend another $2,300 if I want to unlock everything, or like 4,000 hours or something stupid. I am okay with loot boxes and that sort of stuff if it's aesthetic and if it's locked. So what I mean by that is that I'd be much better if you can go, you can only buy this amount of stuff for the amount of hours that you've played into the game. So the more time you spend on that game, the more loot boxes you can buy. You can buy like 2 every level if you wanted to, and it stores it up. So you have to, then there's rarity and limits to stuff, and it helps prevent black markets occurring, because you're going to need to have lots of hours on your account to be able to get these items to then trade with other players. And I think it solves a lot of stuff. It helps regulate, and at the very least. That's just one of my random ideas. But I like that idea. Like, I don't want players. I mean, I used to be a fucking awful gambler when I was younger, and very bad with alcohol and stuff. So I have a very addictive personality when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm very aware of the risks, and I've become at least more aware of myself as I've got older. But yeah, loot boxes, generally bad, but I don't really mind if they're monetizing a game that's free, or it's going to be supported over many years after you've paid for it once, if it's just aesthetics. There's lots of things they can do to help with loot boxes, but the terrible business practices of some of the companies are massive dicks. Long live Bored, also fuck off. Thank you very much, Gaming Long On. You can pay me to tell me to go fuck myself or to fuck off. I appreciate that, so thank you. Hey, can you say what's your fighting ship favourite in 3.0? My favourite fighting ship in Star Citizen at the moment is probably the Sabre still. I just love the way it looks and the way it feels and everything. I'm hoping that the Vanguard Sentinel is pretty high up in there, because I love the idea of that ship on paper. The Gladius with its buffs pretty high up on there. And as soon as I'm able to see what they're doing with the Sabre Raven and test it and see how good those burst EMP generators are, the better. Some interesting stuff actually about EMP. So EMPs are going to create huge amounts of distortion damage that they're going to be charged up as a weapon. It's a charge weapon, so you can charge up for however long you want, and the longer you charge it up, the more powerful it is, effectively. And it has drop off based on range as well, and it's going to deal damage first to shields and then distortion damage to systems based on how powered they are. So if you're like full power to engines, you get hit by a burst, it's going to deal a lot of damage to you. One of the things, I still believe it harms the person using it as well, but turning off systems and that sort of stuff will basically make them immune to that EMP damage. So if you're in the Sabre Raven, for example, I'll bring it up on screen. Let's bring it up here. So if you're using the Sabre Raven, for example, and you've got, you've got 3 power plants, 3 small power plants, and you've got multiple coolers, and you've got multiple shield generators, you've got 4 small shield generators, things like that, then what you do is you turn off a significant portion of your systems already. So you turn off one of your computers, you could potentially turn off your radar, I suppose, and you turn off all these systems, just have 1 power plant running, and 1 cooler running, and 1 of your shield generators running, and then let your EMP burst, whatever, big EMP, and then you turn the other systems that were off on, so your system just boots up. So people using EMPs can make preparations, basically, in management form. Obviously, you can also put in components that are more shielded to EMPs as well if you wanted to, but the fact you can just turn off, if you've got redundant systems, you can turn off a load of them and then just turn them back on. That's what it's about. Same with thrusters, obviously. You probably want to turn off a load of your engines and that sort of stuff as well. But I really like the ideas behind EMPs at the moment. If people want to read more about EMPs and EMP explosions, how they work, you can have a read there. But the idea is that shields will take the damage first. Once they go down to 0, then other systems will start to take damage. But EMPs are going to be very effective in certain situations, but you can shield against them by buying certain components, by putting additional components into those components, the sub-component category stuff, or by turning off systems and getting prepared to get hit by one. I really like that idea. Did the Aquila use its P-52? No, the Aquila should still have its P-52 and its Lynx rover? Or as a rover? Oh, as a rover. I think it's the Lynx rover. So there is more stealth mechanics in 3.0. Item System 2.0 basically allows that management of systems, management of your environment, make your ship easier or harder to detect, turning your power plants on and managing your power systems, and that's going to generate heat, that's going to generate EM. So yeah, the stealth is in. It's not the full systems.
Lovely, scrubbly, jubbly.
Lovely, scrubbly, jubbly. Lord Newton, thank you very much for the donation. Fucking appreciate it, mate. Thank you. The support's been absolutely amazing over the last few months. So, I'll show you what I'm show you what laptop stuff I'm thinking of getting as well in a bit. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I love the MP stuff. Sorry, what we're talking about? Stealth mechanics. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, so stealth is in. It's just not the full stealth mechanics by any means. Like they're going to keep on tweaking all these things, and more of these stealth and stuff will get more and more fleshed out as we go on. Can we later in the game also create our own missions? Yes, there will be a player mission board that you can make your own missions and have some form of enforcement for them as well. Finish the purchase during the anniversary sale. Think it's a good purchase. Oh, what? I didn't see the first part of that question. So guys, I have about 4 ships, Avenger, Cutlass, Terrapin, Freelancer. I'm thinking about melting one of my Cyclones with LTI and upgrading it to a Caterpillar, melting it the Freelancer to finish. Maybe. I don't know much about the Caterpillar modules. I like the Caterpillar ship. I think it's a cool ship. And we don't know enough about what Caterpillar modules are going to have. at the moment for me to advise you, and it depends on what kind of gameplay you want. If you want that larger cargo ship that's going to be a lot more modular and have lots of other uses as well, yeah, Caterpillar's great. It's quite a big ship as well. Probably not one you'd want to run solo, and if you do, then you want NPC crew as well. Any word on the new features surrounding bounty hunting? Got a lone Avenger stalker, and I'm eagerly awaiting any tasty info on bounty hunting. So you're talking more about the actual capture of people and that sort of stuff. Not much in the way of new information, as in no new information as I am aware at the moment. They are writing the design documents for a lot of the skills now because they're starting to build them more earnestly. So I don't know when we're going to get that. Bounty hunting is probably pretty high on the priority table though, so expect to see some information about that soon. I got myself a 315p for exploration purposes, but I'm considering upgrading it to either a Reliant Sen or Terrapin. What should I go for? The Sen is going to have more of the research and science aspect to it, but obviously some of the exploration. Probably be relatively good for surveying ground and stuff as well. The Terrapin, again, it's got the utility mounts and points. It's going to be relatively good for lots of types of exploration. It's going to be quite durable. I personally would go for the Terrapin. I love the Terrapin. I think it's a cool looking ship. I'm not a massive fan of the Reliant series. I don't like the way they fly, I don't like the way they look. Although I respect the way they look because they look a bit like a B-Wing. But I'd go for the Terrapin. The 315p wouldn't be awful either. I mean, you're going to be able to use it for mapping and some surveying. I just think the Terrapin might be better for surveying.
I'm going to buy so many spaceships.
Oh my god. Thank you very much, Aventador, for Were you singing your rap song? So Aventador is the org leader of Matadors, our featured org, who are also giving away a Pioneer this month on my channel. All you need to do is be subscribed to my channel and comment on any of my Star Citizen videos during that particular month on the YouTubes to be in for a chance of winning that. They're a pirate outlaw org that's active now, and they're going to be very active in 3.0. They've got high levels of banter, so people with a shy disposition might not be appropriate for them, but they're good chaps, and they will teach people if they're entirely new players or if they're veterans and they have drills and practice sessions and stuff. They're good chaps, but they are very much outlaws in the game for profit pirates. But check them out, links below. It should be to Matadors. But thank you very much, Aventador, for your continued support. You're a fucking legend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You sexy Aussie bastard. I believe the Aquila is going to be the loaner for the 600 series as soon as the Aquila is flyable in 3.0, yes. Board, can you explain the death toll? Because I understood from what I read, I think people will ask. So, when you die in Star Citizen, you don't have to worry at all at the moment. It's only going to be when the game goes live you have to worry. And there is a soft death system. So what I mean by that is that you can die in the game, and most of the time you will just respawn at the closest or a sensible medical facility. Basically, the idea there is that a medical ship or something has found you, and they've brought you back. Medical stuff in the future is great. Even if you're exposed to the vacuum of space for a couple of hours, you're fine. They can bring you back. Now, if you die loads and loads and loads and loads, or quite a few times, you can actually perma-die. When you permanently die, you don't lose all of your stuff. It literally gets sent to your next of kin character, which you can create then and there. It's as simple as that. You might lose a little bit of money in transfers with like death tax, which isn't going to be huge. It's not going to be game breaking or anything. And you might lose reputation with some of the mission givers and that sort of stuff. The idea is that they do want risk and reward in game. They want mortality, and they want you to make decisions that you wouldn't just like Zerg. They want your life to be important and your ships and possessions to be important. The other thing is that when you lose your ships and stuff, assuming you had insurance, which most people almost always will have, available a minimal level of credits, so that you have insurance. Lifetime insurance covers just the hull of your ship. You'll have to insure your weapons and your cargo and everything separately if you want them insured. And that's where losses are going to be mainly made. But you can pay for your ship to be expedited in its delivery to you. That's the idea anyway, where you can pay like however many credits, like 10% of the ship's value or whatever, to get it immediately, or you can wait to the time limit to have it back, and this is when the game's fully released. But even if you expedite in some situations, shops might not have stock of those like larger ships or rarer ships, so you might have to wait quite a long time. That's the idea. And the more ships you lose and the more you claim on your insurance, the longer it will take for ships to arrive to you potentially, the more it might cost to have ships expedited. It's like and your insurance might go up in general as well. Any news on pure/new PH ships? Bounty hunter ships. No real news on the bounty hunter stuff. We know they're fleshing out the mechanics of it. I'm expecting that you can stun people and take them back and stuff. And I suspect that if you stunned a player and put them in your cargo hold or whatever, it would count as one of their like light deaths. You could take them to whatever for your bounty, to the UEE office or whatever. But I suspect that would count as one of theirs. But I don't know yet. You want to avoid players being locked in a cell for multiple hours. You don't want to remove people's ability to do gameplay and stuff. So, will the UEE security is? There are going to be ways of they're going to keep on finding ways to avoid griefing and to get rid of griefers from 3.0 onwards, and they're slowly going to implement less arm assist zones and stuff like that as well. There are always going to be ways to grief, especially pre-release anyway, and the more they find, the more mechanics they'll have to prevent that. Should we go ahead and buy a game package and start practicing flight, or should we wait until 3.0 comes out? That's an interesting question. I would actually, if you're having to ask that, I would probably wait until 3.0 comes out. There's going to be the anniversary sale on the 24th of November, going until the 4th of December, so you might even be able to find a cheaper package during that period as well. I'm recommending the Mustang Alpha as well at the moment. I think it's had a good level of buffs. It also has a cargo container as standard now, so you can kind of do a little slice of everything with that ship, and I like its extra speed, and it's got the potential to have 4 size 1 weapons on it, and it's got a turret mount on the nose as well, which potentially could have some different weapon options, but I really like the Mustang Alpha at the moment. No, the Raven is 2 EMP Maxox burst generators in its missile slots, so it takes up a missile slot, but it is it's an EMP generator rather than an actual missile. And if you go onto the actual the ship page, it's just showing in the missile slots, but the actual modules it's 2 of these quite large. I'm not sure why I'm doing that. 2 quite large burst generators. All these random like meme things happening.
Buy so many
oh, fucking event the door, man.
Richard, I have seen the cargo in action. It looks fully fleshed out now apart from large crates. Would you care to comment since I have leaked it, lel?
Although some stuff in the Evocati, if you see Evocati leaks and that sort of stuff, might appear to be finished, they might not be finished on all the ships, they might not work in all the terminals, there might be critical bugs which cause people to crash. 3.0 is kind of being treated like they're polishing it beyond a level that I thought, and they're adding things that I didn't think they needed to add, but when you look at it and you think this is actually the foundation for a lot of the mechanics, and it's already semi-content locked, you can sort of understand how they're doing it in the Evocati builds. What I would say is that cargo needs to also work with missions, needs to also work in all the ships that have cargo, and needs to be sellable at all places, and also needs to make sure that ships don't explode when they go into quantum drive, that cargo isn't left behind when you move around the system. There are lots and lots of bugs that you don't really see. Just from seeing one person or a couple of people transport cargo from one place to another is not showing that it's working. Although, I would say that Evocati testing is going very well. I'm very optimistic that it's going to be a PTU release, a wider PTU release by Christmas. Some people are like, oh, is it going to be released next week or the week after? I mean, it's potentially could go to a PTU, but there would be features that would be cut. Or not there until later, because if you look at the schedule report, you can see a lot of this stuff. So, thank you very much for the donation again, Ventador, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions, or anyone's questions about stuff. Some stuff I have to obviously answer in a more sweeping generalization way if it's to do with specific 3.0 content, because we're not allowed to talk about it. Not allowed to talk about the actual specifics of stuff that's not public knowledge. Although I will always fight against that. I will always try and have CIG be more open about those sort of things, because I think that most of the player base is sensible and mature enough to understand that, you know, it's either kind of stuff, but there's reasons. There's reasons for it. So there's a load of shopping bugs still, 33 shopping bugs. And that could also be partly pertaining to cargo, purchasing them from kiosks. Got some mission stuff as well. Got loads of stuff with missions. Mostly to do with tasks though. So tasks are, rather than bugs, tasks are... A bug is specifically a system not working as intended, whereas a task might be an addition or a polish or something like that. Anything that's not a bug, basically. Where is it? Shopping cargo as well. So shopping is cargo as well. So there's not actually that much wrong with cargo at the moment, and hopefully that would have gone down significantly by tomorrow as well. So okay, yeah, maybe, but there's still lots of stuff to do with missions, as we can see. Is 3.0 from scratch? So armor and UEC that you have from 2.6 is gone. Yes, Alpha UEC from every major patch and Alpha UEC purchases will be removed from your account. I always assume that. There's a fractional possibility that after 3.0, some stuff might not get removed every patch, but it's likely that it will, because they'll be updating databases, they'll be wanting people to, they'll be testing to see how long it takes people to get certain things, they'll be wanting to see how much progression's there, how much hook's there, and all that sort of stuff. So the hangars are crap right now, yes. When are they going to get on with improvements or revert to expandable? So hangars and everything else basically in soon will be fully integrated into the persistent universe. So you won't have to load in the hangar module separately or anything, and those hangars will be a bit different based on where you are. They might have physical locations, like city planets on ArcCorp or whatever. So they are going to get improved, they're going to get changed. I suspect as well that the hangars will be quite heavily moddable, and we can put loads of our like flare and tables and little things up there as well if we own them. We're able to rent hangars, we're able to own hangars, but that's getting changed as well quite heavily from what we've had in the past. Yeah, so locking of ships in 3.0 is literally, you can go up to the console and literally go lock external ship doors, basically. In the future, that's going to be, you're going to be able to give people permissions to individual doors and consoles and specific things that they're allowed to do on the ship. There might be keypads, there might be lots of different things, the way they haven't 100% said how they're going to deal with external lock doors, but they've talked about possibly having keypads, possibly having sensors that detect who's there, stuff like that. But there's always going to be ways around that. There's always going to be ways of blowing doors up or hacking. Will CIG support in-game filmmaking with tools like special camera modes? So it's obviously got a few camera modes already. What they don't want to do is they don't want to allow players to use those camera modes for an advantage in combat or anything. So I suspect there might be like little flying drones that can go around and do those camera things, but they'll increase your IR signature, they'll be visible, increase your EM signature, be detectable, and that sort of stuff. That's my expectation of being able to film things in the game. Yeah, you'll have these cool camera modes, and you'll be able to watch your guy in third person, but there'll be a drone flying above your head. And some of it might be using the render to texture and secondary viewport deck, which basically allows them to capture a screen, make it flat, and then transmit it anywhere else in the verse. They can use these for mirrors. They can use these for newscasts in game. You could be filming a race, have it live streaming to a TV. You could use it for a Star Trek style comm system, or as we've seen, they can talk to players on Moby glasses, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I suspect they'll CIG will support quite heavily in-game filmmaking, but they'll make it almost in law. Diegetic, I think that's the term, isn't it? I don't like all the bugs on the Aegis Avenger Titan, so should I melt it before the upcoming sale? Planning to get something else, maybe the Gladius. The Gladius is fucking cool, isn't it? Now they've given it effectively three hard points. I really like the Avenger Titan. It's a really good multi-role ship. I would potentially wait until 3.0 is released and mess around with the Titan before upgrading to something else. If you see something you really love in the sale, then yeah. I really love the Avenger Titan in general. If you're thinking about upgrading to the Titan, it's only a few dollars extra. Thank you very much, Nemo Saint, or Nemos Ain't. Thank you. Appreciate it for the sub. Can you do a video showing a more advanced tutorial on settings with HOTAS and mouse and keyboard? What's your current ones? However, I still don't know a lot what options do. Yeah, so when 3.0 comes out, loads of the buttons have changed and are different, so we'll have to do that. I'll probably get Twerk or Nubifier on the HOTAS and stick stuff, because they're better at it than me. But I can do the basics of controls, basic setup, and a quick guide, definitely. As well as a more in-depth tutorial. But the actual setting up of HOTAS and sticks and getting the ergonomics of those right, I think Nubifier and Twerk are going to be significantly better than me. Can we expect huge organisations to buy huge areas of land and build massive player-made cities? They're going to be able to have large-scale outpost stuff. So we know that players are going to be able to build outposts. Outposts are basically the things that we've got in 3.0, but that can be and external structures to those outposts, so defense turrets, solar planty things, mining extractors, moisture farmer things, gas extractors, lots of stuff like that, and then lots and lots of rooms. So potentially you could have, say, 5 players all buying a 8x8 UE land claim and plopping them all next to each other. So yeah, you could have a huge outpost spanning that area. But I mean, the land claims are between 4x4 and 8x8, 4 kilometers squared and 8 kilometers squared. So they're pretty big anyway. I'm thinking a lot of the time that one land claim will probably be enough for an org on each particular plot. And the idea is that those plots, you place them there because of a reason. If you just want a base, then yeah, fuck it. It's hidden and defensible. But there's going to be resources there. There's going to be reasons to survey that land, and those resources are going to be one of the major reasons you place your base there. So placing them all next to each other might not be the most efficient. You can build huge sprawling outposts, but you're limited by outposts at the moment and some other external structures. So, but not cities. You see what I mean? How many people can take the same mission? Don't really know, to be honest. The idea is that I suppose it will be a sensible AI system, so it will allow a few people to take the same mission, to take resources from one area to another, but I suppose only one person to take the same mission. It might generate the same a similar mission or almost identical mission multiple times, saying, we need 20 billion of this resource here. Can you take 10,000? Can you take 10,000? Can you take 10,000? That sort of stuff. There's going to be counter missions generated from missions being accepted and generated by the God AI as well. So other players might get a mission to prevent you from bringing that resource to there, or that sort of stuff. Or a similar-ish mission, which is support and escort this player while they take stuff here. So I quite like it. Do you think there will be a medium-sized Banu ship since the merchantman was scaled to 160 meters? It's likely that each of the types of ship in-game will have where possible, have a small, medium, large, and occasionally capital-sized ship to do that role. I believe that the aliens will probably have a few more in there as well. So we'll see at least a small, medium, and large Banu ships. Which basically means we're missing a medium Banu ship at the moment, doesn't it? Yeah, so we'll see at least that. Probably with the alien race manufacturers, we'll see quite a few ships from them. So your ships and assets are safe depending where you put them. If they're in a hangar on a UEE planet, yeah, they're safe. If you've got them in your base in UEE space, they're not 100% safe, but they're probably pretty safe. If you've got them in zero sec space, as it were, if you've got them somewhere that there's no UEE presence and they may be in a vandal system hidden, then if a player discovered them or an NPC discovered them and you've got no protection, then not safe. That's only going to be an issue once the game launches, though. In currently, and for the basically at least the next couple of years, all your stuff's entirely safe. It doesn't matter. You can fucking ram it into the sun or whatever. So, I mean, there's a clear definition between griefing and gameplay and piracy and that sort of stuff. Piracy is really important in game for players to do that, and not just piracy, but outlaws in general. It's a different side of the coin. It gives people a lot more expanded gameplay. Griefing is entirely different. Griefing would be me buying 300 Auroras and ramming them into every ship and targeting a player, constantly ramming him on Port Olisar using like exploits or just generally attacking him for no reason other than to get emotional response. There's no profit in it for me. It's just ha 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 ha. And I suspect that will be entirely bannable as an offence. And there's some things that I want as bannable. There's some things I'm undecided on. If you're committing complex ship fraud, so you're buying multiple accounts and then transferring ships between accounts by stealing them and then using some form of exploit to keep those ships on all accounts, I think that should be a bannable offence, or maybe not bannable, but it should be an offence which is dealt with outside the game when they go, right, can't do that, shouldn't do that, that's cheating. But I was also juxtaposed with this because I was like, well, maybe you could do insurance fraud as high risk in game, but as a game mechanic. So you could potentially, if you were clever enough or did something really odd, get away with insurance fraud. But I'm thinking maybe that's not what they wanted and intended. So I'm very convincible about a lot of stuff at the moment. I'm very malleable. Right, let's go down. Up the list. Let's go back down. Pew, 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 pew. How much will hangars be taxed? We don't know. If you own a hangar, probably very little, if not at all. Hangars you rent from other places, a bit more, but it's not going to be huge amounts. It's unlikely to bankrupt you. Could CIG allow cameras in free flight mode only? There will probably be greater camera options in the Arena Commander, Star Marine, and free flight module stuff. So that sort of stuff. Because why not? And they definitely want to encourage people to make cool mission number videos, to make cool, pretty looking things. So they're not going to like say you can't do it, but they'll make sure that people can't take advantage of it for combat. The Aquila can be used as a medium freighter like the Andromeda. Or is there differences between the cargo functionality? Yeah, it can be used like the Andromeda, or you just take out the vehicle that's in there. Will there be an armory / engineering NPC or skill to improve current equipment or weapons? You will be able to overclock weapons and equipment, so that's going to be a mechanic in game. You can literally tweak items and equipment. You will be able to place subcomponents inside of other components that will affect them, so you can make them less vulnerable to EMP, more durable, use less power, be more stealthy, stuff like that. You can also change around your components in general, so that they're more focused at a particular role, so you can have them less powerful in general, but more stealthy. Or you can have them generating loads of heat, an EM signature, but very, 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 very good at generating power or very durable or whatever. But there's no player skills other than actual. I have learnt to do this by playing the game. NPCs, however, will have stats. So technically, you could have a NPC who is very good at being a repairman running around the ship because he's very quick and aware and responsive to a circuit blowing. You're like, there's a circuit blowing, cool, and just run that. Whereas another one might be a bit slower or take longer to take out his welder or be slightly more derpy or whatever. Is the caterpillar fully functional? No. So it doesn't. The command module doesn't detach yet, and we don't have all the modules for it yet. Yeah, so your ship will disappear. The idea is that in 3.0, everything's persistent, sort of. So when you log out, when you log back in, you will log back in where you logged out, and when you log out on your ship will also spawn in back with you. In the future, you'll need to sleep in beds. Everyone that's a player will need to sleep in a bed, and then your ship will log out with you when you log out. And someone logging back in will make that ship log back in. Not entirely sure how other players logging back in will work in 3.0, but if you're the owner of the ship and you've logged back in, it will definitely log back in with you. Should I go and purchase a game bundle and start practice flying? You could potentially. I'd say wait for 3.0. If you want to chill out and get a feel for how the game moves and everything, then yeah, grab a bundle. Why not? Mars will probably look very much like Daymar. Mars looks very, very similar to that. When are we expecting to see the multi-tool appear? I don't know. Very soon. I suspect we will have hand repair and lots of component repair in 3.1. Why are they reworking the Mustang? It's only a light rework. They're just bringing it up with Item System 2.0 functionality and Materials Pass, some light modelling reworks. To make the ship look a bit better. I did not drop the soap. I never drop the soap! I pick up the soap. Do you think when the full set of ships are really, I love you, Bored, in a sexual way, please marry me? Oh. I don't know what the question was. Please marry, maybe. Maybe. It's like online dating, but online stream dating. Skipping way ahead, I'm expecting the first 3 months of the full release to be a bloodbath as griefers, pirates, and noobs work out kinks. There certainly will be people trying to edge case and work out ways of doing stuff and getting away with things. I suspect because of the length of time they've developed the game for, and they will have a beta for a while, that a lot of that will be ironed out. But I am expecting, from patch to patch, but especially early on, I suppose, in the live release, people to try and push the boundaries of doing stuff. I don't think you're going to have as much griefing and extreme piracy as you think, though. Will there be a military transport / freighter? There's the Starfarer Gemini, which is a military version of the fuel transport. But yeah, there will probably be more military transport freighters. Yeah, I suspect so. I have 8 kids and can't afford to spend real money on ships. I have an Aurora LN. What are my options when 3.0 hits as far as jobs go? You'll be able to... Well, it depends what you want to do. You go piracy, steal people's ships, and you'll be able to keep them until you lose them, effectively. Even when you log out and log back in, you should still have that ship. You can pretty much do anything in the verse. A lot of people will obviously want to have a ground vehicle as well, which is going to be hard to have in the Aurora. People have to find them elsewhere. You're not super limited by what you can do in 3.0, even just by having one ship that doesn't have any cargo. Obviously, you won't be able to do any form of cargo hauling, but you'll still be able to get involved with other people doing it. You'll still be able to fly with other people that've got larger ships, and you'll still be able to potentially get those other ships in game. In 3.1, it's not going to be much of an issue though, because you'll be able to buy other ships without VBC. Do you think the Carrack will get a price increase for the anniversary sale? Okay, so 2018 is going to be the year of the larger ship, and most of the other ships, we'll see a huge amount of those other ships flyable in game in 2018 throughout. Starting from like March, going to just throughout the rest of the year, we'll get loads of ships. That's my expectation anyway. Also, CIG are moving over to quarterly releases, so every 3 months we'll get lots and lots of ships and stuff in the game. The Carrack, I don't think will go up in the anniversary sale. Some of the ships, this will probably be the last time you'll be able to get a lot of these ships at these current prices. Remember, you can get them all in game eventually, so don't worry about having to buy them. Don't be like, oh no, I really wish I had $350 to spend on a Carrack. Get it in game. You can get it in game. You can go fly with someone else's Carrack. A lot of people that have got Carracks are going to need crew, so to get involved with that. But I don't think it will go up in price for the anniversary sale. Why should we buy mining or industry ships when we can raid other people's bases? Yeah, you could potentially do that. It's going to be harder to raid other people's bases if they've got them defended well, if they've got NPCs there, if they're in UEE space with UEE security there. You have to find them first. But yeah, that's a totally valid gameplay option, raiding other people's outposts. And I suppose that one of the parts of that gameplay is finding out as much information as you can about them, finding out how much security they've got, getting on the ground and actually having a look and working out how can you disable their power and stuff like that. I think it's going to be cool gameplay. I like making money through outposts and through mining and doing honest work, you monster. How do you like the Octane? So I need to play with the Warlock and Raven in 3.0 before making a decision which is a better EMP fighter, as it were, although I suspect I'll prefer the Raven, because I love the Sabre. How do you like the Octane drive? The Octane drive was great. And very impressive, super fast speeds and everything. I would suggest to people, because I'm thrifty, buying like a Samsung Evo 960 or Pro 960, whatever, which is half the price for double the space. So you can get like a terabyte or like half a terabyte at half the price. And I don't think you're going to see any downside to that when gaming. Like, I just think it's cheaper and better. Like, yeah, the Octane does halve, even beyond that M2 drive that I mentioned, the Samsung Evo, the Samsung Pro 960. It does halve the like loading times even compared to them. So you'll get like GTA 5 loading in 5 seconds. You'll get, which is notoriously long loading time. You'll get Star Citizen loading in 10 to 15 seconds in the PU in 2.6.3, which is pretty fucking impressive. So probably actually close to 10 seconds. But it's just, Star Citizen is not going to have loading times in the future. Yeah, being able to load those assets faster might put less of a strain on some of your components. But I'd say put the money onto a GPU, RAM and CPU that you'd save on that, and you'll be able to have a better gaming system anyway. That's just how I feel about it at the moment. The other thing is that they'll probably have the 2nd gen of that technology, or 3rd gen or whatever, by the time Star Citizen releases. This is my view on it. I've tested it. I like the idea of it. I think it's the best SSD I've ever used. I think it's super fast, and apparently it's going to be super durable. Like, when I say that, I mean like it's going to have a huge lifespan. But I'm thrifty. What do you believe will be the fastest ship that will support quantum travel, both acceleration and top speed? The M50? M50 is going to be pretty fucking good. 350R is going to be pretty fucking good. Let's go back down. Will there be recreational drone gameplay. Gotta get cool angles for photos and videos. Yeah, potentially there's going to be remote drones, and you can use them to take pictures and do cool stuff with them. We know that drones are coming with the Reclaimer. We just don't know entirely how drone gameplay is going to work. Yeah, and the rest in game. That's my. I mean, I buy a load of fucking ships, so I'm a massive hypocrite. But I think a lot of people are going to get a much more fulfilled gaming experience just by having a starter ship, or not going much beyond like an Adventure Titan or whatever. I got a Cyclone TR. Will I be able to drive it around on the surface of a moon in 3.0? Tumble vehicles are coming later. Expect them pretty soon after 3.0, but very unlikely to be in 3.0. They're not going to be in 3.0. Big or small organisations. I don't know what you mean by that. You want to find an organisation for yourself. I'm hoping they eventually cap organisation size or something, because otherwise everyone should join the same organisation. But I prefer medium-sized organisations. Because that will give a lot more gameplay to a lot more people. When I say medium-sized, I mean between 100 and 500 people. They are still fleshing out what armour types will prevent you doing what. So, what armour can you wear while in certain seats? What armour can you wear while driving a Nox, and that sort of stuff. That's still being fleshed out at the moment. Regarding the Mustang series, do you have any information about... Thank you very much, Simmer TV, I love your face. Do you have any information about how we want to enter and exit? So there is going to be a single point of entry into the Mini Mustangs, and they are going to make it so it's a lot less clippy and buggy. That was from the words of Matt Sherman, I believe. But I don't know anything really more than that. That's one of the reasons they were doing the rework, was to get all the bugs done with the Mustang. The ship looked pretty good, but there was lots of problems with it. Friends who are on a multi-crew ship should become NPC when logged out. They sort of do. I think the intention is to have them there still, so they won't just disappear. And they can, if they were asleep in a bed though, and everyone else is asleep in a bed, the ship will despawn, is the plan. I'm not sure if you just logged out ungracefully, if you'd just be sitting in your seat still. I suppose you would be. They might do it so you're full NPC, maybe. We are going to see lots of different types of terrain and flora generation. I'm not sure what you mean by realistic Earth. It's a space game. It's going to be balanced for gameplay. They're going to do what they can. I suspect it's going to look amazing. I just don't know how realistic it's going to be compared to what is real. Pirates are going to be high risk, high reward as a job, definitely. When do you think such variants as the Miss Freelancer and the Cutlass Blue may appear in game? Well, those specifically, and quite a few of the other ones. Probably the first patch of 2018 that will come in. So I think end of March, end of April. Their first quarterly patch, 3.1. They're pretty close to being done. Yeah, the character will almost certainly be in the thingamajig sale. The anniversary sale on the 24th. I'm away next week for Monday till Friday. I should be back to do a roundup of the news on Friday, they say. And I'll be streaming a lot while I'm away. I'm going to be at at Centre Parks in Nottingham, filming some stuff for a mixture of VR, gaming in general, board games, some extra stuff that was going to probably be on my channel. I'm up there with a load of my mates, and they're all getting into streaming and doing some YouTubey stuff as well. So should be pretty cool. Please watch me when we do that. I'll put that all over social media. And I'll still have we're doing a private LAN, so we're all bringing our Oculuses and our computers and stuff like that there. So it should be cool. See us cook as well. See us in our natural habitats. Do you have any information about armour for ships? It will be covered in the future. It's still going to be a thing, so armoured hulls and stuff. But they haven't given us much more information than that. Board, what ships and locations would you like to see in 3.1? I'd like to see some planets. I'd like to see at least a planet in 3.1, and then lots more expanded locations, lots more interesting points of interest and biomes and things. It's great to have these moons and everything, and to see the playable space, but I want biomes. I want to see some of these cool things. I want to see weather. lots of different types. Do you think they're going to add fast veterans animations? Yes, they are going to add a multitude of animations for fast, medium, and slow, effectively, of doing that based on your situation. I'm so sorry. Now you've said stop yawning. Now I've got a yawn. Apologies. I hope that didn't make you yawn. When we see NPCs introduced into Star Citizen, we'll see NPCs in 3.0, and they're going to expand them out from that. So we'll see more and more, and we'll see more and more behaviours, and eventually, hopefully towards the end of 2018, we should see NPC crews. Can't remember if confirmed. No, we talked about that a minute ago. My 5-year-old daughter just asked me, Daddy, why is YouTube's man face upside down? Thank you, KW031. I do have an upside down head. And as children regularly tell me, Mummy, why is his head on upside down? Don't look at the man, dear. Have you heard whether we're going to be able to create a single seat four-wheeler like Tumbrel but smaller that could fit a lot more ships? Fit in a lot more ships. I suspect there's going to be vehicles of a range of sizes. There is going to be probably another Tumbrel vehicle this year. We're going to see tanks, we're going to see tracked vehicles, and we might see a very, very tiny little buggy thing that might fit in more ships. But there's a lot of vehicles fit in a lot of ships now. So, Bored, do you think we'll get an eject button in the fighter ships like the Gladius, Hornet, Sabre, and so on? Yes, I suspect we'll have ejection in almost all the ships, possibly even some of the Drake ships now, but not all of them. Hey, do you think an EA inventory would... Well, early access inventory will be wiped at 3.0 launch and quarterly updates? Yes, I do. I think anything that you buy with Alpha UEC and the Alpha UEC itself will be wiped. One of the things they'll want to test is progression and how long it takes for you to get stuff. So they'll want people to get wiped with that stuff anyway. What is your pick for best solo standard fighter after all the recent ship matrix updates? I do really rate the Gladius now. I mean, the Super Hornet's always going to be a great brawler. The Sabre is very high tech. It's got stealth on its side. It's got that potential of having first strike. We need realistically to get what's the best standard fighter to test them all in 3.0 in the live build. So I can't answer that for you at the moment. Suspect that all the ships will sort of maintain what they're supposed to do based on their role. So the Super Hornet is going to be very powerful. The Sabre is going to be very powerful. And then they'll probably be the top two. And then like you have the Buccaneer and some of the other ships that are very close to them. But they should be like the leaders. When it comes to medium fighters anyway. Some ship scanners are just going to be better at detecting things than others, take more power, detect at better ranges, more focused areas, lots of different things. Will it be possible to fill up bigger ships with tons of boxes? Yes, you will be able to put cargo and containers and boxes and other trods in areas that are not just cargo areas, but they will not be secured. So potentially that cargo could fly around, could damage the ship, the cargo could be damaged, people could be killed, whatever. But yes, you'll be able to put them in weird places, in corridors and things if you wanted. That is not recommended, though. Do we know if the Constellation series turret door animations will work in 3.0? I suspect so. They've fixed a load of stuff with problems with consoles being accessed at certain areas, turrets being accessed to certain areas, so you actually have to physically be there and have a line and target to it. There's loads more animations and that sort of stuff as well. So I suspect the turret door animations will work in 3.0, along with loads of other improvements. Will we see simple vehicles just for transport between cities and inside cities? I suspect we will see public transport. I suspect we will see some simple civilian vehicles, which are effectively unavailable to us at the moment. When do you think they will address ejection in atmosphere? I don't know. They haven't talked much about it. We don't even know how we're going to survive ejection in atmosphere. But there will be a way eventually, whether it's parachutes, jet packs, jet chairs, jumpy boots, portable boots, whatever. There'll be something. I saw somewhere that the Caterpillar has cargo lifts. Does that mean it's able to carry rovers? If they're fit in there, yeah. It certainly is able to carry some of the ground vehicles. How awesome is it going to be racing through Area 18 at extreme high speeds? So, you are going to have some restrictions on where you are able to go. Thank you very much, Perry Haleon. I fucking love your face. Thanks for the sub. You are going to be restricted in where you can go. Like, this demo here that we're seeing, they are able to fly around that city entirely. We probably won't be able to do that. We'll probably have flight corridors. We'll probably have restrictions in there because they're not going to want us to ram or shoot things on city planets. There may be areas that you're able to race. There may be city-ish planets or nearby where you can race through, but expect some restrictions on what you can do on fully populated planets. If you deviate off a course that they've set for you, they'll fine you, might shoot you out of the air, they might take control of your flight computer, so they pilot you. I don't know if the 600 physical brochures, 600i physical brochures have shipped yet. I don't know. You have to ask CS. What will the fastest light cargo hauler be, do you think? Hull A? Hull B? Hull A is probably going to be the fastest light cargo hauler. What do you think of the Gladiator potentially using its slaved target functionality? I'm hoping that they allow all the turrets to be slaved in the future. It depends on the intention of the ship with the Gladiator and stuff like that. So, if the intention is you kind of have to have another player in there, or they want you to use the AI blades, AI modules, I don't know. I need to get my hands on it. I will join you in taking over a Vandal Kingship. I'm showing that there's lots of orcs and stuff that are going to want to be doing that. I'd love to get involved. I love the idea of shipboarding. I love the idea of ship capture. Who will inventory work within? How will inventory work within bases or outposts? Will each item listed in inventory be physically there in some kind of stock or rack or warehouse? Yes. There might be. You might be able to go to an area and physically see the cargo area and then interact with that cargo from a terminal, but there will be stuff that can be stored in lockers, on tables, on players and that sort of stuff, which will require you to go up to there and grab it. They are addressing and improving atmospheric and aerodynamic flight. Gravity will affect you, atmospheres will affect you, and they are unique to each planet and moon. What's the penalty if an Evocati breaks his NDA? I'm not sure. I suppose it depends on what they do. It might just be kicked out of the Evocati. Potentially there could be a legal or civil suit. Potentially it could be criminal if they try to sell information to a competitor or something, I suppose. I think it would depend on what they did. Just don't break your NDAs, don't be a dick, don't record stuff and put it on the YouTubes from Evocati. Just be sensible. There've definitely been some leaks that I saw on Reddit with like videos and patch notes and stuff. I'm not going to confirm if any of those are actually accurate, those patch notes, but people are idiots, aren't they? Even me, I'm an idiot. Has there been any leaked info on if they're testing planet rotation in Evocati yet? Well, the intention is to have planet rotation and orbit in 3.0. Can you share with us one of your famous recipes? I will write down, because I need to do it for private land anyway, because we're all cooking when we go up to Nottingham. I'll write down a load of recipes, like for my burgers, for monkey special meat, as Zin calls some of my Chinese food, which is braised pork belly, which is one of my very, very good dishes. Piggly Wiggly, which is basically just Ryan's pork shoulder braised in apple juice and then roasted with kind of your own hoisin. You made like a sweet Chinesey hoisin-esque sauce, and then you roast that very lightly, and then you wrap it in bacon, bacon lattice all over it, and it's fucking amazing. But I'll do lots of I'll write them down, and then what I want to do in a style of binging with Babish maybe, but probably more simple. Food from Star Citizen, possibly other computer games as well, that anyone can replicate, which will be nice, delicious, semi-healthy maybe. What is your estimate for when they will start building the Sol system? I don't know. They need to finish Stanton first. So when Stanton's finished, a lot of the other systems can be built out, and they just need to worry about hero assets, because everything else can be partly procedurally done. Or procedurally assisted. When you're cooking gameplay, yes. There might be hospitality. I mean, we know that the Genesis Starline has got hospitality gameplay. Do we know if there will be prison gameplay? Don't know. There might be slavery in prison gameplay where you have to break out or pay off your slavery fees or whatever. Potentially there will be cell, prison, and slavery gameplay. Will there be bots or some auto system to sell transfer cargo? No way, I want to remove 100. Yeah, so you can be able to pay other people to do it, pay NPCs to unload cargo for you, or you can pay your crew to do it, whatever. So yeah, there's going to be ways of doing it more simply. You might not make as much money, or you might make more because it's done quicker or whatever. Will players be able to own or operate a truck stop? Now, this is interesting. They haven't talked really about anything about owning player stations and satellites and truck stops yet, but I suspect so. I suspect there will be some form of space station builder craft in the verse, and the players will be able to own them, but we don't know yet. As a pirate, is the player going to be able to do human/creature trafficking and enslavement? Possibly. They still haven't fleshed out all of that stuff to do with bounty hunting, keeping players in cells, and slavery, creature trafficking, human trafficking, that sort of stuff. Hasn't all been worked out yet. Obviously, there's an issue that you don't want players to be hanging around for hours doing nothing while another player's like, ha ha ha, I've captured you! But creature trafficking will probably be a thing. I suspect there will be narcotics in some cases. You'll be able to get, like, as we saw recently with the animals, from the Xi'an animals, and there'll be pets and things as well. Pets is a stretch goal that they passed, so we will have pets in the game at some point. I think we'll get 3.0 to the wider PT by Christmas. Will ships be pressurized so that you have an airlock to pressurization cycle by opening ship's doors? Yes, they will. And they have their own pressure and oxygen, and you can have them damaged, and you can have doors blown off and stuff, and that will depressurize that area. Eventually we'll have full physics and explosive depressurizations and stuff like that as well. Either tests are great, especially from the stuff that you've seen recently with the 60-player testing and that sort of stuff. The Redeemer will get worked on at some point, but it's not on the priorities list at all at the moment. I suspect it's quite low down on their, in fact, on their list of things to do. But you will see it redone at some point, that Redeemer. And eventually on sale again. 3.0 is being heavily optimized. They're trying to put in bind culling if possible, make some other major network improvements. They are working lots and lots and lots on server and client improvements, better server hardware, stuff like that, but also just general CPU and GPU optimization. Oh my god, Alta56, thank you very much for all the fucking cheer. That is a lot of cheer. Woo! Woo! So fucking cheer me. Can we bribe people in-game with book deals? Yeah, why not? I'll have some books. Is there any news about asteroid bases? One of the hangar types is asteroid, and we don't know if we're going to be able to build... well, actually, you're going to be able to build on asteroids with a Pioneer if you've got enough room for that Pioneer to land. They said if the asteroid's big enough and you've got enough room to land, you should be able to build. So you'll be able to build asteroid bases. I would love to interview Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is one of my heroes. I think he's a legend. I would, if that was ever an opportunity to interview Mark Hamill, I would take it. I wouldn't mind play a prison warden or prison transporting. Prison transporting might be a thing. You might be able to take it as a mission. If you've got certain ships, like maybe with the Cutlass Blue. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, I can never say your name. Akana. Sipakana. Thank you very much. I fucking love your face. I didn't see that whole question and thing though. 1 second. Do I have a dashboard with that on? Cheer. Do you know if there will be elliptical orbits in systems or just circular ones? I think there are going to be multiple orbit types. I think. I know the system can support multiple orbit types. So you could have elliptical, you could have... they were talking about binary star systems and things like that. So the potential is there. Oh, no, what am I doing? What am I clicking on? Why have I clicked on there? And why? What is this new task thing that has recently appeared on the burn down? So they're just pointing out the rest of the things that want to be done before 3.0 goes live is the idea. Tasks are separate from bugs. So bugs are specifically something that causes the thing to not work. So you've got a system, doesn't work properly or as intended, that is a bug. A task can be anything from crafting a feature to refining a gameplay mechanic to improve the player experience. Yeah, read it straight from the fucking thing. So here you go. You want to read the stuff at the beginning of the schedule report every week as well, because there's a good synopsis there. Are we going to see GTA-like gameplay on developed planets? Probably not. There's going to be a lot of the area. Thank you very much.
Egg.
Thank you. Thanks. Staff_M3, thank you very much for the sub. And my beautiful egghead appreciates it. We're not going to see that kind of GTA-style gameplay on those planets. They are going to have large areas that are explorable. They've got the potential to do procedure-generated interiors as well as exteriors, but there's no point in doing that. They're going to have large explorable areas in the interior, but they're not going to be the entire planet, and it's not going to be huge forevermore. And it's going to be relatively restricted what you can do on those planets, so it's unlikely you're going to be able to drive around in cars and ram things. That's sort of the gameplay they want to go away from, I believe. But I suppose even in the areas that I'm thinking are smaller, they're still larger than GTA 5's entire game area. So yeah, you've got the potential of having multiple explorable areas on planets that are larger than that GTA 5 game area, and the ability to travel between them in public transport, potentially road systems to connect them with your own transport. I worry about players trying to do GTA 5 type things on those planets. More as I find out more. We'll find out more about the procedural cities later today in the in ATV. It's one of their features there. We're going to be talking more about. So we'll probably find out a lot more about that sort of stuff then. Can you recommend any content creators that are very familiar with coding and the more technical aspects of Star Citizen's development? No. CIG. So you want people like Matt Sherman and that sort of thing. Or to talk to people on the spectrum. I don't know any content creators that are super into coding and really into Star Citizen. I probably do, and they just probably haven't told me that they do lots of coding. You just talked about airlocks. Will there be ships able to dock to one another like the Aurora and the Constellation maybe? No, so they are moving away from using docking collars and ships docking into each other, like linking like that, and more into ship-in-ship docking, so ships flying into another ship, or just being next to each other and using the airlocks and just travelling out in EVA. After watching yesterday's Redacted podcast, please tell Twerk17 that a few simple lines of code we saw in Bug Smashers can often rely on complex subroutines that we do not see. Okay. Like Abent is a fucking genius as well. I've respected his work in the Crowbar Collective. He's a good chap. You talked about being able to lock ship. Will you be able to do it from outside to walk around planets to avoid your ship being stolen? I don't know. I think that's the intention, though. You'll be able to lock your external doors as well if you're the owner from outside. Since they have already talked about the Titan armor, could we potentially see other augmented armor types? Maybe some built more around speed and mobility? Yes, potentially. They could certainly have that functionality if they wanted. Do you think Star Citizen will have a similar mechanic to EVE, where large turrets and missiles struggle to track small targets? Yeah. I think you just have the slower turning speeds for larger turrets, because they would be. So a size 10 gun or something is going to be fixed and firing forward. And it's going to be on a large ship. So yeah, in that sort of way. And obviously larger missiles might be slightly slower or become torpedoes effectively, which are less effective against smaller fighters. Well, probably pretty effective if they hit them. It's less effective at actually hitting them. Are there certain ships you would have to have a spacesuit on while piloting? Any of the open canopy ones? Yeah, any of the open canopy ones. The rest, then it might be potentially a good idea to have a spacesuit on and then your helmet nearby. What is the status of the female character? They are finishing off all of the men's rigging and animations, and then they will finish off the female characters. It's not the too distant future for female characters. I'm expecting 3.1, so the first major patch that we get in 2018 after 3.0. I've seen some weird fan art of me, yes. Will there be ships able to transform like Mega Maid in Spaceballs? Not a serious one. There's going to be ships that are able to parts detach from them. So the Endeavour, the front can detach. The Caterpillar, assuming they still go for it, the command module will be able to detach and reattach. I doubt you'll see transforming ones though, more so than that. Bad Blueberry, best news about and around Star Citizen. You rock board. And it's Swiss francs. Thank you very much. Oh, chuff is Swiss francs. Thank you. Appreciated for a really random and fucking currency in my PayPal account. Occasionally that can go, what the fuck is this? What's DKK? What's chuff? Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Will there be a transporter system like Star Trek then? If you cannot dock. No. No teleporters. It's going to be EVA. Lots of ships are able to dock in other ships, but obviously a lot of ships will just be able to go to a space station or whatever to do all that sort of jazz. Will AI be able to use the P-52 Merlin in the Constellation? Yes, eventually. We'll be able to play in third person without necessarily needing to be in first person mode. So at the moment you can, yeah. The intention will probably be possibly to remove that. To be more realistic, but maybe if they have third person, it might be like a drone or some sort of like a flying thing around you. It's effectively your viewpoint and then putting it to your helmet or whatever. Do you think they downscaled the weapons on the Banu Merchantman compared to what they had originally planned? I think we're still getting the massive cannons on the front. I think there will be some changes to the Banu Merchantman. You can see it on the ship thingamajig though, on the ship matrix. Do you think CIG will have vehicles completely devoid of weapons? Yeah. Yeah, I do. What are your predictions? Oh. The question just disappeared when I click. What are your predictions for concept ships in the near future? We will have a new Tumbrel vehicle, probably by the end of the year. We saw... where is it? Do I have any better pictures of this, actually? Pictures, more things. Cool. Actually, I've got that one as well. Bear with me 1 second, guys. 4th of November. Okay, let's bring that one out. So, in the newsletter, we saw this. So we're expecting that this is a ship, a concept ship that will go on sale in the anniversary live stream. Anniversary on the 24th, so in 8 days. And there was a fan-made render of this as well, which obviously might not look like this, but looks like it's going to look like this, if you see what I mean. I don't know if this is a light fighter. I don't know if this is actually larger than that, because you can see the streams, possibly multiple engines. There could be a gunship. It looks like it's from Anvil. And it's either an Anvil light fighter or an Anvil gunship, in my opinion. What else might we have? Lots more civilians. So they want to have one ship, small, medium, and large for each of the roles. So I'm expecting to see a small salvage ship, a small repair ship. I'm also expecting to see lots of stuff for the ground vehicles. So track vehicles, but also salvage vehicle on the ground. Lots of different combat vehicles. There's lots. Yeah, there will probably be black holes. In fact, I think you see one on the map, on the star map. You'll probably be able to do some sciencey missions with them, that sort of stuff as well. Will friends be able to spawn directly into multi-crew ship? That was definitely an intention previously, so that you could literally jump into an NPC that was there. Obviously, if they're sleeping there, they'll be able to log back on into that multi-crew ship. And some medical bays in ships might allow you to respawn there. Right. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to take control of other NPCs on ships anymore. You may be able to. That might still be the intention, but I don't know. Is the Piracy system still the unclaimed system where they will introduce base building mechanics? So you'll see base building mechanics, whether it's in UEE space or unclaimed space or 0-6 space or whatever. And I am expecting to see some of that base building in 2018, towards the end. But yeah, that's what I'm expecting. How much playtime do you think we can squeeze out of 3.0 before we get bored of it? Most people, probably about 40-50 hours. Like more casual game players, more hardcore fans, hundreds of hours easily, because there's so much to actually potentially do. It's obviously going to be partly to do with how many players we're able to get on the server. If we're able to get large player counts, then a lot more hours. You'll be able to, the party system is good. If the party system is good, then you can get 2 orgs joining the server together to do weird stuff with piracy and anti-piracy and messing around, or just an entire org taking over a server to play around. There's a lot of potential there for 3.0, having potentially thousands of hours of gameplay for a lot of people. It's realistically 50 hours for a lot of people. Because then you're bored, aren't you? It's like, what am I working towards? I've bought everything. 3.1 will have a lot more because you're able to buy ships. And there'll be a lot more just general gameplay as well. But for me, I mean, there's thousands of hours of potential gameplay easily. Will there be a snap to cover system? We sort of saw the buddy system where they sort of did that. And we've seen leaning. So maybe quite a light snap to cover system. I don't expect it to be fully pull you in or anything. What's my view on pets? Good or not? I don't know. Depends how they handle them. I'm kind for pets being in terrariums and chilling out in like your hangars and safe places. Possibly if they have like the weird little Pikachu bat thing on his shoulder, that might be alright. I don't want complex pets. But that's just me. Will bigger ships have a general quarters alarm that could cause NPCs and players to scramble to their stations? Yeah. Stuff like that, definitely. Any idea when we might try character creation? 3.0 will have very limited character editing of the creation. And it'll get more advanced from patch to patch. Whatever happens to the Avenger trainer? The trainer wasn't available to people, was it? You've got the Avenger Titan. Do you think CIG will sell land plots alongside big cities, etc., at premium like they do ships? No. I think you'll only be able to buy them in game, or with that, the Pioneer basically had a land claim as well. But no, I don't think they'll sell them for real money outside of the game. Will the 890 jump go on sale for the anniversary? Yes, probably $890. After 3.1, will ships you bought in-game be reset, like the alpha money? Anything you buy in-game before release, with alpha UEC, will almost certainly be reset from patch to patch, including the alpha UEC as well. Would the more high-end speed-based vehicles, like the 300 series and the Nox, have a boost-like system? Yeah, they got boost. Loads of card leaks that end with a statement, you can stop waiting, 3.0, not going to be released this year. I think we'll probably get I'm hoping for a PTU by Christmas. That might be over-optimistic of me, but I think that's a possibility. You think it'll be possible to ride in storage containers and jump out during travel to, say, take over the transporting ship? I mean, you'd have to... Potentially, yes. You'd have to somehow get into that cargo. Will we see non-missile nav beacons and other ways to deploy them, such as beacons stored in cargo areas, which should be set up manually by hand or on planet side? Potentially, again, yes. Because I think for example, the Cyclone RV, RC, whichever one it is, the Recon one, RC, that has nav beacons I think it can place. So, yeah, there'll be other nav beacons that aren't just missile-based. Do they have any plans for bikes other than hover bikes? I want wheels. I want wheels too. I want a wheeled bike. I don't know. But I would also like a wheeled bike. Right, I'm going to jump into some other more majory, newsy stuff. So this week we saw... Thank you very much, Zipicana. Zipicana. Thank you you became a patron. Chris. Thanks, Chris. It is easier to say, right. Naming animals. So there was a competition, I think it's ended now, to name some Xi'an animals. But this is basically some concept for some of the animals we might see in game as well. There was a Xi'an wool-wielding. It wields wool. Yielding animal, like a yak that they use when they breed. There was an apex predator, which was like a big dragon lizard thing. It's pretty cool. And there was a popular Pikachu pet thing, which is a squirrel, rat, Pikachu, which is one of the things that we think we might get as pets in game. Maybe it will like be on your arm or swim around a terrarium or whatever. You're like, oh, you've got one in your ship, or when you've got a hot tub. Oh, it's swimming in the hot tub. Isn't it cute? Oh, your ship's blown up. Oh, it's dead. That's why we worry about pets, okay? But this is the link to that. Didn't say stuff like that. I added that in. What else have we got? Oh, okay. So the latest GeForce drivers. There's no point in me to actually bring up these. The latest GeForce drivers, the 388.31. They gave me quite significant boosts in Star Citizen, frame rate wise and stability wise in general. Actually, I think my card's actually running slightly lower temperature as well, oddly. But they seem to be amazing drivers. They were very good for Destiny 2 as well. But just for people that don't know, check them out if you have an Nvidia card. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, so donation goals and stuff. So I'm going to get a better laptop for being able to go to events and do news and for some other uses while I'm streaming and stuff. But I'm probably going to grab one of these because it makes sense in the longer term and it will make everything cheaper straight away and long term. So I'm going to grab a gaming box, which basically you plug into your Thunderbolt port if your laptop has one, and it basically just goes, now you've got a 1080. In this particular case, but it will be upgradable in the future as well, so I can flog the 1080 and upgrade to another graphics card. But this is much more sensible because that means I can get a much cheaper laptop with a better processor and more RAM, and go, well, I'll just have like a 1050 or 1030 in there, and then make sure it's got a Thunderbolt port, and then just plug this in, and then when I'm at events, when I'm at CitizenCon, when I'm at Gamescom, when I'm at BritainCon, when I'm at iSeries, I've literally got a super fucking fast gaming computer there. I can do my audio and video work on that, all that sort of stuff. So that's what I was going to be getting. And when I get this, I will give it a full review. I think it's going to be an option for a lot of people that want to get an upgrade for their computer or whatever. If they've got a Thunderbolt port in their laptop, just buy one of these little gaming boxes and plug it into your laptop. I think it's going to be possibly a good thing. But I will review it once I have it. What else we got? What else we got? Oh, BrizzCon on the 21st of April. There's BrizzCon. I'll be there. Brian Chambers will be there. Aaron Roberts will be there. It'll be a glorious fan event. And you should buy tickets. And they're cool. And it's in Manchester. And it's the Radisson Blue. And I helped create this event and helped start it. And it's fucking cool. And you'll love it. What else do I want to talk about? So, Cheyenne Animals, NVIDIA kind of gains with their latest drivers, schedule reports. So for 3.0, we're expecting potential having bind culling in there, which is just massive network improvements, as well as lots of other optimization, actually good frame rates. They've been doing their 60-player tests, so the potential that we will have quite a few more players than 24 in servers. There's been lots of flight model changes. SCM speeds are faster again now, with much bigger ranges. Quantum travel have short and long quantum travel, kind of little sprints that you can do. If you want to do a little short one, you can do a little short one. But there's a non-linear curve for that, where your quantum travel drive like ramps up and then ramps down when it's going in and out of quantum drive. So longer range travel, you'll get up to your full speed and effectively quicker meter per second. If you see what I mean. There's also Super Cruise as well now, which is second stage afterburner again, which is kind of similar to what cruise mode was. Quantum disruption might be in the game as well, with NPCs being able to pull you out in 3.0 of quantum travel, which would be great seeing that. The ship's matrix stuff that I noticed this week, the Cutlass is now awesome. I much prefer that to the Freelancer, where the Freelancer does have a good bit more cargo room. The Gladius has been buffed, it's now a solid fighter. We will be looking at this ship matrix a lot in videos soon. I am just waiting for all the stats to settle. Anniversary sale. So on the 24th of November to the 4th of December, there is going to be an anniversary sort of like party, sale, all that sort of jazz. There's going to be an 8-ship series that Chris and Sandy are going to present. Probably in a very similar style to what we had last year with the Galactic Tour stuff, where they looked at a manufacturer every day, and then ships went on sale that day, and then the last couple of days of that sale, so like I think probably the 3rd and the 4th of December, they sold like every ship that was available. I'm expecting to see Javelins and Idris on sale, very limited numbers, and almost all of the limited sale ships come back on sale again. Probably have that concept sale of that new fighter, whatever the hell it was, whether it's a gunship or a light fighter, don't really know. Potentially there's going to be other concept sales as well, might be a tumbril vehicle. Don't think there's going to be price increases yet, because none of those 3.0 ships are flyable. So when ships become flyable, out of concept or whatever, they normally go up in price. So I doubt we'll see ships go up in price for this sale, because 3.0 is not out. That was the main things I actually wanted to talk about. Other than I'm quite excited about EMPs. What else we got, question-wise? I don't think land claims are paid monthly. You may have to pay, if you want added security on your land claims from the UEE, or NPCs to patrol them, or supplies and stuff there, then you're going to have to pay for those. I think the idea is that in UEE space, someone buying an area is supposed to be pretty secure. But there's so many areas. There's, like, you probably wouldn't be able to put all of the players on what 3.0 has. Like, moons-wise. Like, there'd be more than enough room, is what I'm trying to say. And I worded that really badly, my brain exploded. There'd be... You probably had to fit all of the players on like probably a single moon, but probably not with the actual land size claims. Maybe you would. No, you better get them on all moons in 3.0. But in unrestricted space or zero security space or non-UE space, people will be fighting over bases and smashing them up all the time. It'll just be people will be hiding bases more than anything else. You'll be able to deploy mines, external mine buildings, whether it be for moisture, for ore, or for gas, on the ground, yeah. Do you think we'll be able to hire a whole NPC crew and give them... yeah, you'll be able to hire full crews, skeleton crews. There may be some limits to that based on performance and based on the game not becoming a full sim citizen, micromanagement sim citizen. So Alienware Perihelion might have their own proprietary option, but I suspect that it's significantly more expensive than that Gigabyte one. That was Gigabyte ones. I think it was like £600 for the box and the graphics card with it, which is for a 1080 is pretty good price for the pair. When will the supplies of the Raven run out? Will the Octane drives drop $200? So fucking get. It's a good point. I don't know. I doubt it. I suspect once they're getting close to the next gen of Octane, which probably won't be too long, then they'll discontinue the Raven stuff and then move on to the next drive. Intel and RSI, Star Citizen, they look like they're going to have quite a strong relationship going forwards. Turrets are a lot better in 3.0, yes. But you won't be able to replace them with AI in 3.0. But it'll be players. Night is going to be quite dark on planets, but they have got this like aurid glow, so you can sort of lightly see. Do you think AI... Thank you very much, Hanethcom. Much appreciated for the sub. Do you think AI is the last big thing keeping Squadron 42 from releasing? Yes. Probably polish on planetary missions, and yeah, the biggest thing is clearly, to me, AI subsumption stuff. They want that AI away from Cathera and its own beautiful beast, and they're doing some pretty cool stuff with it. It's just taking a long time. It will be worth it from a gameplay point of view, definitely. It's just annoying to wait. When it comes to security, will higher security areas be kept secure by you simply not being able to fire? No. So the idea is that there will be turrets, there will be security officers, there will be cameras, stuff like that, and quite severe repercussions if you're caught doing anything naughty. That could be fines, that could be killed on sight, that could be effectively being expelled from lawful space. I think it's closer to be you being hunted down and killed, and in very secure areas than like in Eve, where you will get killed in a microsecond. Yeah, in certain areas. Are the FPS NPCs planned for 3.0? I don't believe so. No, I think FPS or more combat first-person shooter NPCs will most likely be coming in 3.1. Yesterday, a friend of mine told me. Pledges will not be available after the rest of the game, so there's no play to win. So there's going to be the ability to buy game packages still with some limited range of ships. So think of smaller ships all the way up to possibly a Constellation. There's also going to be the ability to buy a limited amount of UEC every week or whatever. So that's the way they're regulating gold miners effectively from the game and monetizing the game so that you don't have to have subscriptions is the idea. They will explore other options to monetize their game if necessary. They're not ruling anything out, but they'll discuss it with the community. The idea is that Star Citizen shouldn't be any form of pay to win. We will analyse that in more detail once we know more, though. I will always fight against pay to win. I'm okay for a wider range of ships and people having those ships. I don't see that as pay to win. You can only really compare it as pay to win if you have 1v1s in lawless space. So, but we'll look at it in more detail and we'll look at all the different things once we know more. Do you think CIG will concept a gunship before the reconcept of the Redeemer? Yes, almost certainly. Obviously, we've got the Vanguards, but I do think there's space in the verse for a proper gunship. Possibly even the one that we saw. That might be a light fighter. That could be a gunship if it's larger. Regarding mining, when you see some res, will you actually be digging down to it, or will it be pulled out of the ground. I suspect it will be pulled out of the ground when you place an external structure on it. Pulled out of the ground. Or with the... Because you're about to do it with the prospector as well. So maybe that will create a little hole. And minerals will come out of it. Don't 100% know. I don't think they want much in the way of being able to deform land in-game. I think it may be mainly situated around the Stanton system in Squadron 42. Will there be different biomes in each of the planets, or just desert, jungle? I know there'll be multiple biomes on planets. I mean, some planets might be a city or jungle planet, but most will be have quite a lot of diverse biomes. Or some will have diverse biomes. I want to go mining and be able to start ore and minerals. If the price isn't high enough to save them for future, do you think we'll be able to get basic storage? We'll be able to buy one? Yeah. You'll be able to store it in your hangars. You'll be able to store it on bases that you make. You'll be able to store it in your ship. There's going to be, obviously, then you have to balance of how much is it costing me to store this as well. If I wanted to live in a city, could I do that instead of making a base? I'm hoping that they allow you to buy apartments in cities as well. I don't see why they wouldn't. I think that's quite sensible gameplay. I'm expecting Star Citizen to go to beta in 2019, very end of 2019. That's optimistic, though. Yes, I saw that Intel are possibly going to be making their own GPUs, which is going to be fucking cool, and which gives them a lot more competition in the industry, which should mean better GPUs for everyone, and cheaper ones, potentially. Planetary rotation orbits are supposed to be in 3.0. Yeah, they are supposed to be in 3.0. And they're supposed to be functioning, and that's the hope. And quite certain. I'm pretty sure they're going to have it. Could this possibly be the last anniversary able to buy rare ships? Some of them, potentially. Some of them at this price, yes. Will pirates be the apex predator of gold farmers? I mean, some pirates might be gold farmers. But I suppose gold farmers do repetitive tasks simply, typically. Something that's not their account. I don't know. It'll be interesting, isn't it? Ambush gold, you go, oh, this is where gold farmers farm. And they're not going to want to report anything to anyone because they're effectively doing naughty things in game. So you can just mine the gold farmers. Would you be okay if they monetize, if they place real life ads in the verse? I'm okay with that, as long as those ads are in lore. I think actually doing that would give you high quality in-game cool ads, which were like, oh fuck, this is really cool. There's Coca-Cola in the verse, who would actually now have brand presence in the verse and have a story behind them that's in lore that makes sense. So as long as they do that, yeah, I'm cool with that. I think that's cool. I like the idea of being able to buy ads in verse with UEC as well. Huge amounts of UEC. You should be able to advertise your org, your YouTube channel and stuff like that. Fuck it, why not? Do you think we're about to buy drugs in-game? Yeah, I do. I think we're about to make them as well. One of the things the Endeavour will be able to do is it's a modular science ship. You'll be able to put a lab in there, research place in there, manufacturing place in there, and then just like manufacture drugs with it. I know there are thumbs up and thumbs down buttons, but are there thumbs maybe? Not at the moment, but there should be, shouldn't there? Like undecided. Hey board, I just got a Saber Raven, not realising it was a pledge, and not just a ship package. Now 3 pledge packages. Do I get 3 different accounts to use? Can I consolidate them? I believe you get 3 player slots on your account. I believe that is the way they work. Yeah, so I've been absolutely shattered and super busy recently. I'm not going to be so needed as carer for my brother at the end of this month on, I think, a permanent basis, which is going to be great, which gives me more freedom to do my YouTube stuff and more freedom to just do lots of cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to that, because then I can actually go see my brother a lot more socially and be like, cool, let's go do this and let's go do that, and not have to worry about stuff. And also be able to travel to different countries, be able to go to all these different events, be able to go up to Manchester, whatever, without having to worry, which would be fucking amazing. I don't 100% know how our hangars are going to be integrated into planets, but I think they may have a physical presence from what they've been saying. I think that's a silly idea to have a physical presence, but I think, because I think you could have them like in a storeroom with an elevator and stuff, and do them quite cleverly, using the, not effectively instantize them, but they wouldn't be instanced. They'd be going to different levels and things. But I think they might have physical presence on some planets. Which ship updates do you think we will see in the anniversary live stream? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that they're going to do for the anniversary live stream. We will see probably pretty much every ship shown off and displayed in some way, I would suspect. We might see a lot more special edition ships as well. So when I say special edition ships, I mean ships like the Saber Comet, the Hornet Wildfire, although it's not technically not a special edition ship, it sort of is. It's actually a hull variant and a special edition. And all those ships that we saw, the Renegade, the Avenger Renegade, and all that sort of jazz. Yeah, I think selling really high quality skins for ships and weapons, I'd be okay with them doing that. So you can, if you're able to paint your ship any colours you want and do that sort of stuff in game with in-game money, great, boom. If CIG want to make some really fucking mental cool like dragons on ship skins and then we'll charge for them, I'm happy with that. Thank you very much, Coldest Blood. Thank you very much for the sub. I love your face. Will the server count? With the server count up to 60, do you think it's possible that we might see an Idris in 3.0 or 3.1? You could potentially see it in 3.1. Not going to see it in 3.0 unless it's a derelict or something. You might start to see these larger ships as derelicts. They've talked about derelicts, more derelicts being in 3.0, so you might be able to find some sneaky derelicts there. In 3.1, the potential to have an Idris. What they want to do is they want to get the server count as high as they can with a solid frame rate. Really, realistically, at least 60, I suppose. So we're still a way away from that. I cannot confirm or deny exactly what the Eva Carti are doing that's not public knowledge, unfortunately. Considering all don't you think you should get on the CIG payroll? I'd love to be given stuff by CIG. I was thinking about it the other day, I was like, I just have to declare it, wouldn't I? So if CIG paid me or anything, I'd say, yeah, fucking great, awesome. You just declare it on the videos, you declare it in the fucking thing, you talk about it occasionally, you go, yeah, fuck it. I'd like to be paid in ships and stuff. That'd be fucking great. Give me all the ships, so I don't have to worry about buying them for content. Give me any fucking, like, if you make HOTAS or you get a deal with Intel, give me all that stuff for review. I'd like that, but I wouldn't want to be employed by CIG. That'd be hell. I like my autonomy. I like being able to say whatever the fuck I want about CIG. If they fuck up, I want to say I don't like that. If their Optane drives are really fucking expensive and don't make sense to me, like I thought they did with this one, they don't make sense to me. It's a game with no loading, where I can get a really fucking fast M2 drive that's twice the size and half the price, that's going to do me just as well in the short term. The Evo 960. Then I'll fucking say that, and I want to be able to say that. I occasionally look at I am sponsored by Oculus, for example, and they do call to actions and stuff occasionally where they say promote this or promote this. I won't do shit like that. I will say what I think about the game. I will play it if I enjoy it, and if it's shit, I'll say if it's shit. Fucking deal with that, okay? I think that's fair. All we got to do is disclose your sponsorships. And there's like talking points like, we suggest you talk about this. Fuck off. No, I'll talk about what I want to talk about. Is the cargo box from the Aurora in the game in 3.0? The intention is to try and get it there, but I'm not sure if it will be or not. I'm sorry, I can't be more helpful than that. The cargo boxes, they want them to be there. The procedural cities we saw, are they going to be damageable and destructible? I don't believe so, unless it's a story event. You will find out more about procedural cities in ATV tonight, and I will probably do a expanded video on that. In Lawmaker's Guide, we have heard of a few ships which are historical. Do I think they'll be in-game? I think we might see derelicts of them in the verse. I think that we might see models of them, and potentially see a few other ships that we are totally unaware of appear occasionally. So yeah, potentially we'll see some of the older ships in those they've talked about. Optane drives are the best SSDs available to the consumer market by far. I think they're amazing. I think they're amazingly fast. They're just really fucking expensive. I'm thrifty. I had all the money in the world. I'd recommend. If everyone did, I'd recommend them. And I recommend them for anyone that has a load of fucking money to spend on a computer system that is like, no, I want the best of everything. Fucking get it. If you want to save money or you want a better option, then spend it more heavily on your CPU, GPU, and get a larger SSD if you're going to use it for general gaming. When will Star Citizen release the module where I plug the virtual reality cord into my head and enter the game like the Matrix? You can do it now, it's just you might have to go to hospital afterwards. Don't know if you haven't answered it. Will that you'll be able to hire a whole NPC crew? Yeah, you'll be able to hire NPCs as a skeleton crew or as a full crew. You'll be able to hire them for as escorts, I believe, as well. I'm not sure on the limitations of exactly what you're about to do with NPC crew yet. They're still fleshing it out, and there will be some limitations on that. Yeah, so as ships get older, new versions of those ships might come out, but the old ones will still exist.
So many spaceships.
Started recently following Star Citizen stuff and getting excited for it. Is it a good time to start playing the game on or wait a bit more? Keep up the good work.
Amir, thank you very much. Very much appreciated for the donation. I would... Star Citizen is not a sit down and play game yet. 2.6.3, there's some cool stuff that you can do. But if you're looking for a lot of tangible gameplay, there's not much teeth to it yet, other than, oh my god, this is pretty, oh my god, this is cool. 3.0 is just around the corner. I would consider waiting for 3.0, or at least, the very least, wait for the sale coming on the 24th of this month, because you might be able to pick up a cheaper package. If you're bored and you've got nothing else to play, and you want to start jumping in and doing some stuff in Star Citizen and kind of seeing stuff, then yeah, jump in now. But if you're looking for tangible gameplay, you're going to have to wait for 3.0. When will I like your 3.0 meme tweet? I'll have a look at it in a minute, Warp Space. No worries. You can't recruit NPCs in 3.0 now. Do you think we'll have auto parking sync to auto land function? No, I think that would be manual, most certainly. Potentially you could have an NPC or an AI module driving those. So I suppose you could have auto from that point of view. I figured out how many times the gameplay will finally be. Do you think the animations will be slow? Animations and fidelity and amount of things going on and entities and all that stuff are all big issues for gameplay, and server ticks and all that sort of jazz. It's a mixture of everything. What they want is they don't want janky animations. Mining is in 3.1, yes. Yeah, I think we'll get PTU before Christmas, or just around Christmas. That's what I'm hoping for 3.0. I can't confirm that because we don't know. Anything else? Because I'm going to go eat. You're going to be able to buy UEC with real money when the game goes live. It will be very limited. Will be restricted in some way, so you can't spunk all of your money into it. And I would suggest probably people just working with a group to get ships, or not spending money on UEC and just getting it in game. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to convert your real money back, your game money back into real money. In fact, I very much doubt it. No real updates on the Titan suits. The last time they talked about them were they put size 1 guns on their arms, but they were too long and they couldn't turn in corridors properly. They were having some problems with them. They sound like really big suits of armor. They're not like big mechs or anything. Size 1 guns. They're pretty big though. I'm hoping what they do is do the large shoulder-mounted weapons for heavy armor and stuff. They just give them 2 of them or 4 of them or something. Yeah, so in 3.0, there is a hints and tutorial system. It's a hint system, which is actually quite in-depth, which will help you play the game. The website should be being updated for a tutorial-esque thing, and there'll be loads of tutorials from people like me as well. Eventually, we'll have a proper flight tutorial and all that sort of stuff. Again. Is cargo transport in 3.0? Yes.
Tricksy little hobbit.
What does BoredGamer eat? It'll be roast chicken, maybe wasabi, soy, and jasmine rice, or something like that. When I fancy something, I'll just go and make it. I used to be a chef, so I've got quite a good palate, and I've got a cider downstairs as well. Oh fuck me, yeah, I'm drinking that. Do you think fidelity asked for by Chris Roberts is unnecessary at the level? No, I mean, they need to keep fidelity in mind. I think they do over-polish stuff. I would like a much more rawer experience, but that's the kind of... I want stuff now. I want to be able to spawn in Idris and mess and fuck around. I don't care if it's buggy as fuck. So they're treating everything as like a polished product because they're getting a practice run at releasing products as a junior studio. And obviously that's the way they want to release their game. It hypes the game up, makes them more money, it seems. They're a business at the end of the day. I recommend waiting to see what Virpil do with their Constellation series of HOTAS and joysticks. I think that they might be cool, I don't know. If you're looking at a cheaper but very high-end product, then the Thrustmaster 16000M FCS stuff is really fucking good. But you have to like that kind of throttle. I don't know if there's going to be a legitimate way to make real life money out of the game other than with YouTube channels, streams, that sort of stuff. I mean, obviously the grey market, people sell ships like that. People have bought houses and cars with the money they've made with the grey market, and that's semi-legitimate. I mean, it could be collapsed by CIG at any time is the issue, which is why the black market stuff is what you're talking about, where you're like trying to convert in-game money to real money, which I think is going to be not what CIG go down the route at all. Wasabi is basically Japanese mustard. Is that how I can describe it? It's very hot. BoredGamer, you can add me on RSO. Just BoredGamer, one word. How hard will it be to get back into being a civilian from Pirate? Oh, it depends on what you've done. It depends how illegal you are. You're probably about to pay a load of fines off and stuff and get back down to a reasonable rating, and then over time you'll be more allowed back into areas. But I suppose minor crimes would instantly transfer into putting you at a really high level again or something, maybe. You have like really low reputations with people. I mean, the Constellation's a large ship. It flies like a Constellation-sized bus. Because 3.0 has been delayed so much, will the female characters be available in 3.0? Very unlikely, because they haven't finished all of the stuff they need to do for them yet. 3.1 is very likely, though. Can I has a hearty hello? Hello! Trollolololololololol. With 3 pledge accounts, I thought I heard that you could use other accounts as AI as part of your crew. I'm not sure if that's still a thing. That might be still a thing. I haven't heard anything more about it. So the potential is that with other accounts on your account, you can have them as NPCs on your ship. And that your friends can take control of them as a jump-in thing. But I don't know about that still. I will ask Aaron or Brian or someone of a particular level as soon as I get the chance to. I will ask them more about stuff like that. How much do you think the flight system is in flux? They will keep on tweaking and iterating that flight system constantly until they are happy with it. Do I need to have a background on space games to enjoy Star Citizen? No, but if you know you enjoy space games, you'll probably enjoy Star Citizen. But not at all. I mean, it's going to be the first space game for a lot of people. I mean, I remember Wing Commander. I remember playing it when I was very young, like a wee nipper. Do you think we're about to breach into other ships from space in 3.0 and kill people from inside? Yes, that's the intention. Even in 3.0, you'll be able to blow up doors and get inside. So yeah. Any other questions? So there are a couple of other things on my channel. There is a Buccaneer giveaway in addition to the Pioneer giveaway on a specific video. I say on a specific video. It's actually any time between now and November 24th. You also have an additional chance of winning a Buccaneer, which I will draw at the end of the next week. For that Buccaneer. There's also a video that has a starter pack. If you don't have a starter pack for Star Citizen and you're looking to get into it, find the video that may be about the Mustang Alpha and Aurora's starter packages. And then if you leave a comment on there, you have a chance to winning a starter pack. Donated by lots of lovely people from like the corporation, like Danky. And just everyone's been so supportive recently. You're fucking all legends. Thank you. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. I've played Space Engineers. I probably, if I've had enough people to play with regularly, then I'd probably get into it a lot more. I will look at Space Engineers again at some point, though. Is the NPCs recruit... Yeah, we've already talked about that. You'll probably be able to do some stuff with voice with them. You'll probably be able to do a lot of other stuff. They'll automatically do a lot of stuff, and you'll be able to use consoles and stuff to tell them to do things. They will sell most... They'll sell all flyable ships, almost certainly, and they'll sell most limited ships as well, and concepts. Expect almost all the ships to be on sale. I'm not sure of the learning curve for how hard it will be compared to Eve. Because there's accessibility to be able to do everything in Star Citizen without actually having to like learn a skill book or something, it's potentially going to be easier than Eve, or easier to start but harder to master overall. Will we see plant surfaces that react with humans and vehicles like mud, snow, where you can get stuck in? Yes. You will certainly see at least tracks. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get bogged down stuck in, actually in mud particularly, but probably. Just real quick, when 3.0 is released, what can we do? So you're going to be able to land on planets, you're going to be able to explore all that sort of stuff, you're able to do a much larger variety of missions. Obviously lots of them are going to be fetch quests, kill quests, some of them are going to be to go to derelicts in space, some of them are going to be to go to outposts on planets. We're going to have the ability to buy and sell cargo, so you're about to do cargo hauling and trade runs. There's going to be quantum disruption, there's plans anyway for that, where pirates can attack you while you're in warp, so effectively there's going to be escorts and that sort of stuff. There's going to be a lot more places to explore. You're going to be able to buy systems and weapons for your ships with Alpha UEC, and then upgrade your ships from that. A load of the base systems are in. There's some cool other stuff which isn't really gameplay, but like the rotating of planets and that sort of stuff. There's another major gameplay mechanic that I'm forgetting about. Also the stamina system and all that sort of... There's loads of supporting systems that make the game play a hell of a lot differently as well, but actual general gameplay, talking about landing on planets, you're talking about cargo, trade and transportation, and all the missions. Will there be any manufacturing to do, like in Eve? Yes, so you'll be able to make drugs, you'll be able to have bases that are able to do things, whether it be mining and refining, or whatever. That could be for gas, for ore, for water and moisture, for potentially oxygen. So yeah. They moved away from ship-to-ship docking. It will be ship-in-ship docking and that sort of stuff. And either landing on ships or landing in ships. And the rest of it will be EVA'd, mostly. How big will planets be, very roughly? A quarter of the size of what they'd really be at IRL. And they can be massive. So... So you could be potentially be travelling on planet for days, going around it, if you're trying to go around it on the ground. You're not going to be crossing it in 10 minutes without using quantum drive or super cruise or whatever. There's potentially large-scale hard missions or scale-up missions for groups and orgs. Yes, that's the intention there. Just not for 3.0. I don't think there's any form of children in the game. I think they've moved away from having children in the game. They want people to shoot children. There's a lot of games do that, obviously. With scanning, will ships be able to locate buildings from space, or will they have to be much lower? Oh, you'll be able to locate them if you know where they are, if you're detecting the right things, or if they're putting out enough juice. I think that some ground vehicles, or getting closer to them, will be much easier to detect structures and stuff when you're closer, or on the ground. We'll be able to declare a career in Star Citizen so people know what we specialise in a certain mechanic. Yeah, you'll be able to also... I mean, it's going to be the jobs that you apply to and go to, isn't it? So whether they're a player job or a job on the job board from an NPC or whatever, you're just going to be applying for those jobs. But I suspect there'll be ways that Mobileglass will identify you, or ads that you can put up so that people know, like, I want this kind of crewman, or I am this kind of crewman looking to join a crew to do these kind of missions. I suspect there'll be that. Will the rover fit the Gemini? Will the rover fit in the Gemini? I believe so, yes. Pretty sure. If we don't have a bed in our ship and log out on a moon, we'll be able to... Yeah, you'll log back in where you logged out. In 3.0, you'll just... That's fine. In the future, when they actually have the bed logging system in, there's the potential that someone could come along and destroy you, rob you, kill you, whatever. But you'd log back in there assuming that you hadn't been killed. Will I be able to get my wife ice cream from the supermarket she linked from that one galaxy? Yeah, why not? How will setting the PvP slider to high? No PvP slider anymore. Suspect the expectation is that some systems will be very secure UEE systems, which will be pretty much safe from all forms of PvP and piracy, whereas there will be zero sec space and less secured space where PvP and that kind of combat will happen. Probably higher risk reward for mining and stuff like that as well. Do you know if there will be... We will be able to travel with a ship on a pad, for example, the Pioneer having the Freelancer or something on the pad? Yeah, you should be able to. They got rid of docking collars, that's the thing. They removed docking collars in space for all the Cutlass Blacks and stuff. Once ship parts... purchases go live, will they continue wiping databases with each update? Probably up until beta or release. Probably. Is quantum travel in groups going to be a thing? Yes. There's quantum linking, which will allow you to jump as a group. I don't think that's in 3.0, but it will likely be in 3.1 or 3.2. Yes, yeah, Concierge is a little specialist group for people that spent over $1,000. They get invited to concierge events, which happen very rarely, but they also get access typically to concept sales a day earlier because they are the people that are going to buy the concept sales most likely. It's a marketing thing. And they also get a monthly concierge newsletter. I'm concierge. I'll put that out in videos. There's no NDA or anything on it. Now, when we want to restock, we have to fly to a nearby space station to do so. Do you know if there are plans for making a trader/caravan-like spaceship with escorts and stuff? Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by that. So there'll be Starfarer, which will be able to refine fuel and space. There's the Bounty Merchantman, which is literally a little flying trader. There's lots of stuff you can do. Would the Mobileglass have a browser with limited internet access? Potentially, you'll be able to get access to outside internet from your Mobileglass, yeah. I don't know exactly what they want to do. But the idea is it's like a phone apps. It might all be an internal intranet-y kind of thing, or you might be able to load up YouTube videos and things, maybe. If I've cut this back and the price goes up, will upgrading the ship consider the new price or the original price? It should consider the new price. So if you have a ship that you bought for $100 and it goes up to $125, when you upgrade it, it will consider it $125 from the upgrades. If you melt it, it considers the original price of $100, or however much you paid for it. So just bear that in mind. Will Star Citizen be coming out on Xbox? No. They've said it's not going to be on console, although in the future, anything's possible, I suppose. What is Spectrum supposed to be and work in the PU? Spectrum is a one-stop shop communications platform, which will be forums and org communication and all that sort of jazz. It ties in, I suppose, with the Delta Patch and all that as well. But it will also run the back end of the voice communication in game, and I think probably VoIP as well, face over IP. But it's basically like a mixture of Discord with Reddit with org management all tied in game. That will be and be an overlay like Steam for the game and stuff like that as well. Thank you very much for all the questions. I want to go see if anyone else is online at the moment. I might be back streaming again later tonight, and it will be or on Zin's channel. So go and follow. This will make her happy as well. So one of my best mates, Zin, who I actually play games with sometimes, who will eventually be playing Star Citizen when it's got a bit more meat to its bones. And this is her channel. Please go and follow there if you would be so kind. I will be appearing on lots, and she'll be appearing on mine lots. And we're going up to Nottingham next week to go to Centre Parks together with her partner Deathcore and loads of other of my mates that you may have seen on the channel occasionally, including Zen and G, who's the art guy, Deathcore, Kit, if everyone knows Kitsune, her partner Adam. We're going up there for a private LAN. It's going to be fucking great. We've got 4 Oculus Rifts. We've all brought our computers. We're all cooking, and we'll be streaming lots of there from the day. But that's Sin's channel. I'm going to be there later tonight doing a escape room games, but been doing lots of VR stuff. So escape room games, helping her do those, and then you'll see us play from Other Suns and stuff like that, possibly tonight as well. But yeah. Oh, so there's a game actually called Sheriff of Nottingham, which I'm buying for there. Which is a bluffing board game. It's pretty cool, actually. Delta Patcher is coming with 3.0, yes. Do you think Evocati will still use the... yes, I still think the Evocati will be used. Will landing require the carrier to stop for ship to land? No. You'll be able to do it. It'll just be harder when it's moving. What else we got? Yeah, if anyone wants to go and follow Zin's channel, I will fucking love you forever, and I will be on there later. Also be hosting her as well. Who is online actually doing Star Citizen now, though? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. It's the sound I make when I'm looking for Star Citizen channels. No. No, that's me. Oh, no. But thanks for all of the love and support. I love talking about Star Citizen. I'm really fucking tired. I'm tired all the fucking time at the moment. Oh, SMB's here. We've got Super Mac Brothers. We're going to try the raid function out as well in a second. So thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all the fucking donations and subs. It's very much appreciated. You sexy, sexy people. We are going to... Let's copy Super Mac Brothers' name. We're going to try out this raid function. So the raid function allows me to basically say we're going to raid someone's channel. And people can click on that. And then it will go over to their channel when the raid starts, and everyone that doesn't join the raid hosts the channel anyway. But I think it's just another way of helping people expand their channels. But let's fucking try it. I love you guys. You're the fucking best. Let's fucking you click on that if you're on the Twitches to go see SMB. Oh no, I can't copy his channel now. Oh my god, this is the worst. I'm the worst. Twitch Super Mac. But thank you very much for all the love. Tomorrow we'll be looking at probably procedural cities in a bit more detail. And what else? Hey Zin! I see Zin, I was praying you! Fucking see? Fucking Zin's here now. She's like, oh my fucking god. Get back to work, Zin! Fuck, she's at work. She's fucking taking it easy, mate. But I love you guys. You're the fucking best. Give fucking Super Mac Brothers some love. I'm sorry I'm swearing all the time. But you know, and this is where we're going now. Love you guys. See you soon. Egg overlaid, bro. Egg overlaid. Yeah, thanks thanks for all the love, attention, everything. If you need me for anything, email me at stream@boredgamer.co.uk.